A chair is still a chair, even if no one sitting there. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when there's no one there to hold you tight and no one you can kiss. Good night. Now and then, for all things conspiratorial, new earth oriented, liberation from the construct of the matrix, weird Hollywood and political shit, light workers, chakras, laser beams, star seeds, healers, clairvoyance, the cosmos, the universe, and beyond. I am your host for the New Earth Architect podcast. Welcome. I might be serious some days like this. I might be fed up like this. I might be happy like this. The point is that we're all here to experience all of it. I'm just here to express what I've gone through, what I'm going through, see if that resonates with you, if you can relate, if any of it makes sense. Because for the past 10 years or so, I've been looked at like I'm crazy. But if you're not crazy a little bit in today's day and age, and you're just sort of rolling through like things are normal, and that you're normal, it's not tugging at your spirit somehow, or, then I don't know. Fuck, you're doing better than me, doing better than a lot of people. I one of the things that I like to think is that, our experience is based on our perception, right? The things that we give attention to ultimately have the most power in our lives. Um, it creates an emotion or it creates a thought, right? The thought creates the emotion. The emotion impacts your beingness and how you project out into the world. And then that sort of is reflected back to you. That's manifestation, folks, right? I think that word is used a bit more than it should, or somehow taken out of context quite a bit. Um, but we'll dig into that at some point, I'm sure. Um, I might even be a little cringe at times, I'll be wrong, I'll be right, I'll be familiar, I'll be detached, you know. Whatever the case may be, I'll always aim to be loving, joyful, caring, empathetic, compassionate, and understanding. And, aiming to be the most authentic version of myself possible. And I invite and welcome you to join me in doing the same. I think it's important that we express how we feel, what we think, have some sounding board, but I think it's also equally as important, if not more important, to take what it is that we're given and process these things in a different way, not only through social media or friends or family or people that are like us, but just with ourselves in a semi-dark room, maybe with a candle lit, maybe with some crystals, maybe with some sound bath healing stuff, tuning forks. I'm into all of it. I take what I can get to help me navigate through this Beautiful, beautiful blessing called life. So yeah, that's about the gist of it, you know. So let me tell you a little something about me again, my character. I'm that guy who in seventh grade was part of the mob that was gathering after school to witness a fight. It was a girl fight, two girls fighting, two girls that I was sort of friends with, and I felt bad about it. And I think that boys at that age probably have raging hormones, you know, going through puberty, a little gross, a little overzealous, bloodthirsty, but mainly gross. I was the kid in that circle who's watching these girls fight, hoping that they wouldn't, you know. One girl was much bigger than the other. It wasn't a fair fight. One of the girls was quite developed. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of those boys, some of them my friends, some not, were waiting for a titty to pop out. Why do I know this? Because I could see the anticipation building when the girls started, you know, grabbing at each other's clothes. I was not hoping for that titty to pop out. Um, I was very observant at a young age, and I noticed that one of the girls had like a fanny pack, and there was a little bit of money in it. I could see it. And I didn't want that titty to pop out. No, 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 no. Let me tell you something. I wanted some of that change to pop out so that I could gather it and have $1 the next day so that I could buy a Whopper from Burger King like all the other kids in the Bible study group. Let me tell you, that girl with the fanny pack got slammed to the ground very hard. And that change did pop out. And for the other girl, that titty did pop out. And I just remember going in, trying to break up the fight, and people thanking me for intervening and stopping this chaos. And as I was breaking up this fight, I reached down with my left hand and I grabbed about $1.75 worth of change. Now, felt that $1.75 wasn't too much. She probably had about $6.50 in that fanny pack. And being that I was helping to break up the fight because she was getting beat up, that $1.75 that I had scraped up was sort of like a tip. The only problem was that as I broke up this fight and grabbed that $1.75, she saw me take it. And for a brief moment, as she was on the ground, still sort of getting beat up, we made eye contact. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. And I gave her back the 75 cents. I kept the dollar because I think the Whoppers were like $1.25 after tax. And I figured I could scrape 25 cents up somewhere between the end of that day and Bible study the next day. The youth group is what it was. So when we talk about my character, I don't know. That day haunts me to this day. And maybe that says a lot about my character. That um, I feel like I've never escaped that moment. I felt ashamed. And I knew at that moment that I had some semblance of empathy and compassion for my fellow men. Not just because I didn't try to manifest a titty popping out, but I don't know. Just how I felt afterwards. So I guess today's conversation will be a little bit about compassion, empathy, self forgiveness, the overuse of the word manifestation, and how, in maybe my experience, it has either worked for me or, within my perception, maybe worked against me. I don't know. So I'll say that nowadays, right? Excuse me. It's a bit more commonly accepted. Um, this sort of new age way of thinking. Would you agree? Chakras, fifth dimension, matrix, meditation, self awareness, healing journeys, right? Empaths, light workers, star seeds, Anunnaki, Illuminati, all through your body. Matcha green tea and a little hot toddy. I don't know. We're here to experience it all, right? I'm not here to judge anybody out there that wears some of these labels like healer, empath, light worker as a badge of honor or a label or title, or these master manifestors and guides. um you know I'm just glad that we are living in an age of, I think, a more profound sense of self-discovery, right? um what comes along with self-discovery obviously is some element of self-awareness. First, we have to become self-aware um in order to discover from that point. Some of us feel like we maybe all have it figured out. Another word that I hear thrown around a lot is enlightenment. Um, you know, we're all seeking to some point, to some degree. We're all looking for something, some way to better ourselves, hopefully to help support the growth and um, evolution of our fellow man, our community. But I will say that and I'm honing in on the word manifestation because of this. In an age of hyper capitalistic tendencies and opportunistic tendencies and materialism, right? It's no accident that one of the most standout parts about spiritual growth is manifesting, because I hear it most often attributed to wealth. There's nothing wrong with it, wanting um, better for yourself or wanting to be successful, whatever that means to you. I feel that that's a very subjective term. Um, but yeah, there's no mistake in the fact that it's gone straight from this self awareness and healing and just fucking skipping the line up to manifest. What can I have? You know, um, and I went up to Big Bear a couple months ago, and so for some of you that know me, for the last couple of years, I've been sort of off grid a bit. I've been traveling and nomadic and sort of building stuff here and there and project managing sites and doing some movie studio stuff and some carpentry work here and there, some art stuff. And I've come quite accustomed to not wanting much, somewhat of a minimalist, Um, I fish a lot. I like to be out in nature. I'm just now acclimating myself back into the sort of cityscape and getting used to that again, urban environments, and being okay energetically with that. Um, but yeah, I went to Big Bear a couple months ago, and I drive a big old 2000 Expedition because it suits what I do for work and me going out into the wilderness and building my cabin off grid and whatnot. But I saw that new Land Rover Defender. It was like all black Overland edition with the unnecessary gas tank and ladder on it. And it's just like matte black. And it was parked at one of the cabins. And it was parked right next to the cabin that I pulled up at and was mine for the next couple days. And I was like, oh, fuck. I sort of want that. Do I want that? I don't know. That was the first time in a while that I caught myself. It's not a bad thing, or you know, allow myself to say, "Wow, sheesh, what do I got to do to get one of those?" you know, um, how do I feel about using my sort of spiritual inner powers of manifestation to attain something like that? It's it's quite an opulent expense at $165,000. Um, yeah, I don't know. It made me feel some kind of way. And it made me, look at things like, well, you know what? I've been busting my butt. I deserve something, don't I? I don't know. Do I? And this is like the conversation that I'm having in my head. Um, and it made me really think about sort of manifestation and what, I don't know, that alchemy, that process looks like. The derivative intent to wanting something for yourself, or even for others. Um, and I took that into meditation for quite a bit, and it wasn't for any one particular answer, or it wasn't for like some green light or some okay to like, um, from the cosmos and God and the Creator to give me the green light to say it's okay to want something, for yourself. Um, so I don't know what I was really looking for, but I guess what I stumbled onto and all that was, this sort of comparative value to what is going on in the sort of spiritual community when it comes to manifestation. That word that's almost like, and you tell me if this resonates with you, because you might see it a lot through social media nowadays, where it's almost sounding sort of like cringy or like a four-letter word, you know, because of the identity that it's sort of taken on, in regards to the connective thread that it has to more stuff like consumerism. Z, za, su. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Um, when before I go to bed and I have a brief breath work or meditation session, prayer session, I guess I'm looking to manifest all the time, right? My back's been out, right? My elbow's been out. I've been sort of beat up lately. And I'm like, normally I'm pretty good at self healing, of targeting through yogic practice, through breath, through stretching, or what have you, targeting within my body what needs to sort of be healed so that I can keep going forward healthily in the type of work that I do. But more recently, in the last like couple of weeks, it's been a real tough go at it. So I found myself like in my prayer and meditation at night saying, I call upon Creator, Source, God to just help guide me to healing. You know, help heal this back, this hip, this groin region. Am I looking to manifest then? I'm asking for something, right? I don't want a platinum hip or a diamond encrusted hip. I don't even want a hip replacement. I just want the raggedy old hip that I got now to be better. But is that any different than asking for that Land Rover Defender? A want is a want, right? What do I want it for? I don't want it to run over anybody with. I don't necessarily want it to flex on, you know, somebody on the freeway. I want it because I like it, wanted it. It's funny because, over time in sort of assessing this on a number of different levels, intellectually, spiritually, practically, I'm like, I don't want one of those. I don't need one of those. But it would be nice. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on manifestation? You know, um, and do you feel that that's sort of being overused out there in the spiritual zeitgeist? Yeah, I think we can get turned off by this sense of like oversaturation of certain kind of language or terminology, and then we start getting a raised brow because things start to sort of start losing their meaning and their essence, their true nature. You know, I guess that's sort of what I feel. I'm not judging anyone. I'm probably just judging myself more than anything else and sharing that with you. You know, I'm no expert. You know, even in all the stuff that I mentioned here at the intro of this show, what I say, creative expression, liberation from the construct, addiction, light workers, duality, conspiratorial affairs, spiritual things, awakening things, meditation. I'm no expert in any of this, by the way, but I've experienced quite a bit of a little bit of all of these things that I mentioned, or else I wouldn't mention them. Um, And you know, that's what we're here for, right? To be reminders to each other, to be sort of reflective surfaces to each other, to share with each other what might be able to help usher someone along uh, with a little less friction, because you know we're able to learn from the mistakes of others, you know, or learn from the successes of others, right? Hmm. I don't know. And maybe my memory is just a little cloudy. Maybe I did want that titty to pop out. Maybe I wanted maybe I wanted boobs and change. And I'm just convincing myself that I'm some special, unique individual. We're all special, unique individuals, but there's more that connects us than what separates us. Yeah. So manifestation. So the election happened, right? How you guys feeling about that? I made a quick video about 17 minutes long about the fact that I have no dog in the fight, um, but sort of where I stand in left versus right, and the fact that it's two wings of the same bird, and the whole government system is funky, false, fabricated, and filled full of fuckery. Anyway, but a lot of people are sort of segue. A lot of people are still sort of suffering from this, right? Um, that who they voted for, you know, didn't win. I'm not a supporter of either side. I am a supporter of progress. I'm a supporter of not being lied to or ripped off or placated or appeased, you know? Um, I bring this up because I think that it's important for us to reset. If we were angry, we have the choice to now shift that anger into focus and attention on what it is that you hope to see moving forward. Because what is wanted from us the most from the powers that be is division, is fear, angst, disorganization, right? If we can all just come to a little peaceful stillness and say, okay, I didn't quite get what I wanted. I didn't manifest the president that I wanted. In the now and now and now, how do I move forward out of this echo chamber of angst and fear and anger and uncertainty? Well, you reset back to what it is that you're hoping to see and want to see in the future, right? Because that's not out of the question when it comes to the potential of those things still taking place. We don't know, right? Everything else is sort of propagandic and hyperbolic and rhetorical, theoretical. And we have an opportunity to just say, okay, what do we want moving forward? And let's see if we can accomplish that. And not only that, look, I didn't vote. I didn't. But what do you want to see? What were you fighting for? What were you fighting against? And right now, being that we are sort of we have a blank canvas moving forward, ask yourself if these things are still feasible and possible. Ask yourself also what you're doing, right? As we're looking to these politicians to, fix the homeless situation, fix the food situation, fix the taxes situation, fix the war situation, what are you doing? Are you contributing to the continued propagation and, you know, in essence, growth of a, very unhealthy environment that we're being given? Or are you, I don't know. I don't know. Start small. Take some lunch to the homeless guy down the street that you pass by every day, maybe numerous times a day. I don't know. Give him, maybe you ain't got no money to, because your taxes have been spent overseas funding wars. I don't know. I have no answers. I don't pretend to. Um, but I know one thing that we are all capable of doing, and that is becoming still, taking a couple deep breaths, and sort of hitting that reset button. Now and now and now and now and now. We have that opportunity in every moment, actually, to sort of recalibrate. Say, I'm blessed to be alive. I'm blessed that I woke up today and can complain. Or you eating a donut and having your coffee with a roof over your head before you get into your vehicle with gas in it and go to the job that you chose to work at. I was having a discussion the other day with someone who's um, very aware, self-aware of, you know, the spiritual landscape as well as the integration of that and weaving that into the fabric of this 3D reality. Quite aware. And he was saying that, it's just, it's tough out here because, we as a species are not supposed to be like working these jobs. He agrees with me in that sense. We're a species. We're working for money and they're taking our money and doing this with it. And we're unhappy. You know? Um, yeah, it's a matrixy type thing, right? Like we're like components. We're cogs in this little rat race machine thing, right? And people want to liberate themselves from it. say, man, we're not supposed to be doing this. And this is wrong. This is too much government control. And this is yada, yada, yada. And I understand it. I understand all sides to a degree. I can. Believe it or not, I really can. It maybe sound like I'm mocking somebody, but I'm not. But then on the same note, he was like, and the AI and the robots are going to take our jobs. I said, well, fuck. Don't you want to be liberated from the workforce and not have to work? Problem solved. The robot's going to take your job. Ugh. No, no, no. We want our cake and eat it too, right? I don't know. On that note, man, I got a problem with sweets. That cake made me want made me want cake. Tell you what my go to is. For $1.79, you can go to 7-Eleven and get 2 chocolate chunk cookies. You can have those cookies with a glass of milk before bed like a fucking child. Every night if you like to. I do. What is wrong with me? Nothing. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and so are you. You see my finger? You are. Divine timing. There's a lot of things that we're aware of and don't do anything about. And then it comes to this point where it's like, oh shit, I gotta do something about this. I think that us as a society is sort of there too. How many words are we gonna keep going? How many, times are we gonna just be lied to and stomped on and, have our rights taken away, civil liberties, whatever it is that you feel is being taken away from you? But not everybody's gonna go off grid and grow their own food, chop their own wood, create a gray water system, a water catchment system, right? And I think the thing is in people's mind, well, I can't do that. I have responsibilities. You can do that. If you really wanted to, you could. Right? The individual could, right? But the individual says, well, we're not quite there yet. So you're just waiting for the shoe to drop. Right? Is it waiting for the other shoe to drop? Is it waiting for the shoe to drop? Why is the shoe dropping? Who's dropping the shoe? Where's the shoe dropping from? I don't know. But as the expression goes, I feel like there are numerous shoes dropping, right? Does it feel that way to you? Does it feel like it's raining shoes to you? It's raining shoes. Hallelujah, it's raining shoes. I'm going to be singing through this podcast every once in a while. I hope you enjoy that. I'm sure most won't, but that's okay. It's my podcast. I can't wait till I get a guest. Who wants to be a guest? I know my friend Ajani, I know, and you're in Costa Rica, and we're going to sort that out. I want to really have you on here. Ajani is a dear friend of mine who is working on publishing a book on burnout coming soon. I want to make sure that I'm share that when she's ready to go ahead and launch that. Um, Beautiful soul, yeah. And we've talked in the past about having her on. Yeah, so I try not to make this whole podcast about me, but I guess it is like, it's my perspective, right? It's from my experience, So we'll talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that. Um, I appreciate you joining me, you know, and I'm not sure where this is all going. I hope that you guys follow me. I hope that there's a lot of questions that come my way and a lot of shared experience that comes my way, so that we can have some really good, excuse me, hearty, robust, organic, authentic conversations about this experience called life. Um, I know for myself that feel very blessed every morning to wake up and say, okay, let's see what we got. You know, I know that lately it sort of seems pretty tough to like not just want to like distract yourself from the distractions. Also, geez, there's a lot going on out there, um, and no situation that I actually want to bring up right now. The ditties and the Biebers and the rituals and sacrifices and demonic possessions happening at concerts and shit. Light versus dark. These conversations will come. And I don't know if you're going to get the serious me during that time, or you're going to get the cringe version of me at that time, or you're going to get the, what else? The charming and sensitive version of me at that time. What else? I don't know. I think I'm pretty consistently me, though. I think I just shook the shit out of the camera. So, yeah. Um, I guess I'm now just sort of scraping at the barrel. There's a million things to talk about, but let's talk about you. Yeah. Make sure to like, comment, share, follow. Um, throw some topics up there. I have the framework for a number of different topics, but I try to just start these things out as organically as possible. When I do have guests, it'll be a little bit different than me just sitting here talking to a green light. But I am talking to you, though. So when I look here, 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 I only have one camera, actually. There is no there or here. It's you that I'm sharing this experience with in this moment of time. So, on that note, I thank you. Let's go ahead and exit with a couple deep breaths. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhale out first. Then we're going to inhale deep and slow. And that should take about 4 to 5 seconds. Then we'll hold it for about 7 seconds and we'll take about 8 seconds to exhale. You with me there? Three of them. You can set whatever intention you like. You can even manifest a titty or some change or a Land Rover Defender if you like. I'm not judging. Let's take a couple breaths. Oh, thank you for joining me here on the New Earth Architect podcast. We'll have some guests coming soon. If you yourself want to be a guest and have something interesting to talk about, feel free, tap in. I'm just sort of gathering all the technological resources that I need to try to be as efficient as possible in the production of this thing, being that it is only myself so far. Said I was not meant to be alone. Turn this house into a home when I turn the key. And you can get love, light, and blessings. Thanks. Good night.